Well, we're about 5 minutes after. I'm going to go ahead and get us going here so we don't take up too much of everybody's time. My name is Johnny Jack Kidwel. I'm one of the two at-large tribal counselors representing those folks we just talked about, the at-large citizens. The other tribal counselor we have for at-large, she's on here with us, Dr. Julia Coates. She's here with us today. If you have any questions specifically for either one of us, we're more than happy to read those in the comments or message us individually, or text or email or whatever you'd like to do during, before, after, or however it is you'd like to make it happen. We're always willing to answer any questions that you might have. This town hall tonight is near and dear to my heart. Those of you who have come to many of the CCO at-large meetings that we have throughout the country at any given place at any given month. You will, if you've heard me speak at any length, you will hear me talk about why I believe it's important for tribal citizens, specifically at-large citizens, to work for Cherokee Nation, work for their tribe. I think it's important for a number of reasons. Number one, you're able to go home and take your paycheck from Cherokee Federal or whatever job that you're doing and support your Cherokee family, and that's admirable. That's what needs to happen. But while you're at work, you also help increase revenue. And the reason why that's important is because Dr. Coates and I, as we sit around the table at the Tribal Council, that increased revenue is legislatively required to go back to the Cherokee Nation to support resources and benefits, specifically for the lion's share of at-large citizen benefits and resources. So as you help increase revenue, working for the Cherokee Nation, working for Cherokee Federal, or in whatever capacity that you have, you increase that revenue. Dr. Coates and I, we go in and we fight for a percentage of that revenue increase, and then we're able to utilize that revenue increase to expand benefits and resources back out to at-large citizens. So if you think of it as a cycle or as a cyclical movement, that's why it's important. It's important to understand that most, and I know probably many of you on this Zoom understand this. I don't want to harp on it too much, but most benefits and resources that are provided to Cherokee Nation citizens are funded through the federal government. Burial assistance, utility assistance, many of those things that you hear about, clothing assistance. Whenever the federal government gives us that money, they also put a restriction on that money, and they say, hey, this money can only be utilized for Cherokee Nation citizens who live on reservation land. And that singular restriction is what mostly negatively impacts at-large citizens. So the way we get around that, Dr. Coates and I, is we utilize our own revenue to increase those benefits and resources. For example, 5% of Cherokee Nation or Cherokee C&B revenue, net revenue, is identified is specifically legislatively identified for things like hearing aid program for at-large citizens, for prescription mail-order drugs for at-large citizens, for prescription eyeglasses for at-large citizens. So all those programs that you see, like for example the history course that's being sent out to our at-large groups, our language course that's being, those who want to learn the language, all that is typically funded by our own revenue. And so as you, as a person who's working for the tribe, increase revenue, Dr. Coates and I, we get a larger percentage of that revenue to in turn send that back to you by means of benefits and resources with those unrestricted funds. So that's why when I say it's near and dear to my heart, it truly is, because Dr. Coates and I, we wake up every morning, and not a day goes by that we don't ask ourselves, hey, what can we do today to help out those in need in the at-large community? That's what we're here for. That's what we do. We're not only your voice on the tribal council, but we're here to help you and get the things that you need and the things that we can provide. You know, hey, we're not going to go be able to build a clinic in Los Angeles, California tomorrow. That's just not going to happen. But we can expand some benefits and resources, and we have to do that with our own revenue. So as we talk about revenue, we're talking about jobs. That's what we're talking about today. And with that, and on that note, I'm, as I said before, happy to answer any questions. But before I go too far, I'd like to ask Dr. Coates, ma'am, is there anything that you would like to say before we introduce our guest for this evening?
I think that's a wonderful introduction to the topic tonight, and I think it is just super important in this very material sense that you're talking about, and it does fund a lot of things that go to the at-large people. But I would add that in addition to that, being employed by an entity of the Cherokee Nation is also just a terrific way, I think, to feel one's own sense of investment in the nation itself, right? To feel one's own sense of connection, to really enhance the sense that you are a part of something that is big and it's active and it's contributing. And I just think in sort of very non-material terms, there's something really special about that. I know I was employed by the Cherokee Nation for 7 years, and the sense of pride that I had, because it just gets, it commands a lot of respect, you know. It commands a lot of respect there in northeastern Oklahoma. But even when I travel around and say, you know, I'm checking into a hotel and where are you? Who do you work for? And I say, tribal government, the Cherokee Nation. It's always, oh, okay, that's interesting, you know. So I think that there are also those kinds of things also that that make employment with the Cherokee Nation and with its entities just a very, very special thing. So thank you, Councillor Kidwel, for suggesting this topic tonight. And thank you, Dana Robison Miller, who will introduce herself in just a moment as well. It's really wonderful that you are able to join us tonight, and we're just both very pleased about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go on to me, though, I noticed I put something in the chat. I noticed a couple of other people did too. Hey, Johnny, is there a place on our, is it Cherokee.org that somebody can go to find out about some of those, like the prescription and those benefits you talked about? Where could they find out more?
I will put a link also in the chat. It's to my link tree, and what you for specifically for prescription and those types of things. We want you to contact our healthcare navigators, our patient experience team. They were specifically hired, not what Dr. Coates was it a year and a half ago, a year ago maybe, to field questions from at-large citizens. We get so many questions about healthcare, and this patient experience team is there specifically to answer these questions, and not only help you navigate the Cherokee Nation healthcare system. Not only that, but they're also there to help you navigate or get into or utilize any healthcare facility or apparatus that might be in your local area. So they study up on where you are, and then they help you identify things that you may not have known existed in that area where you live. There may be nothing at all, but the part of their job is to look into that and help you do that. But they will help you answer all that, and I will make sure that I put my my link tree address in there. In that link tree address, it goes to many things, whether it be scholarships and veteran affairs, and actually Dana, your information is on there as well as a recruiter, the CMB job search site. So there's a lot of stuff on there. The healthcare navigators, the patient experience team, it's on there. Jessica Lewandowski is her name, and all of her information is on there. I'll put it in the chat. That way it's easy for everybody to find.
Okay. And Johnny, I sent you a text if you could take a look at that.
Yeah, well, I will take a look.
Well, I would like to thank everybody for letting me come. This is my first Cherokee Town Hall. I'm a Cherokee citizen and also a staffing manager at Cherokee Federal. And I'm not sure if everybody really is aware of Cherokee Federal. I didn't know who they were when I first started. I've been there for about a year. The Cherokee Nation is made up, has a Cherokee Nation business. And Cherokee Nation business is made up, and Johnny, feel free to correct me if I say anything wrong, but basically made up of 3 different entities. There's Cherokee Nation business, and then Cherokee Nation Entertainment, which oversees all of the casinos. And then Cherokee Federal, about 14 years ago, the chief came out and decided, how can we capture all of this wonderful federal funding that is out there? And basically there's quite a bit of pushback because they had to go off of the reservation and find this little company out in Lakewood, Colorado, which is where I am at. And they reached out and said to a company, can you please help us figure out what this is all about? How can we get in? We're a disadvantaged company. We're an 8A, diversity. There's all of these different pockets that we fall into as a Cherokee Nation. So they partnered with a company there, and that was 14 years ago. Cherokee Federal now is the largest, if I'm correct, is the largest income maker, I think more than Cherokee Entertainment. We're about $2.5 billion every year. So for the last 3 years, Cherokee Federal is $3.5 billion. So you take, what is it, 36%? Is that how much goes to the nation, Johnny? Oh, I think you are mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Actually, legislatively, Cherokee C&B, Cherokee Nation Businesses, is required to provide 37% of their revenue
37.
back to the tribe. Yeah,
okay.
30% of that is legislatively required to go to the general fund. 5% of that is for contract health and other at-large services, and then 2% of it goes to our sovereign wealth fund, which is basically our rainy day fund, if you want to call it that. But 37%. But remember too that over the past 3 years, Cherokee Nation Businesses has provided up to 60% of their net revenues back to the tribe. So it's a lot.
Oh, wow.
I mean, legislatively required is the minimum. They have routinely given to the tribe more than that.
Wow. So I can't speak on behalf of Cherokee Entertainment or C&B, Cherokee Nation Business, but for Cherokee Federal, so us by ourselves, what we do is we go after anything that is a federal contract. We have about 500 positions on our website right now. Most of those are active positions. Some of them, and I can't give you an exact amount, maybe 100 of them are, you'll see where it says we're pending contract. So basically we will bid on a contract, and we bid on everything. If you go to our website, we have the most diverse platform of jobs I've ever seen, and I've been doing HR for about 30 years. It's anything that the contract requires. So it can be doctors, healthcare, facility workers, military, environmental scientists, lab technicians, clerks, accounting, finance. If it is out there, we pretty much have it because we go after a contract. It could be a military contract where we're cleaning up waste sites. It could be that we're hiring doctors, a lot of nurses, lab techs for COVID, for flu. We have huge contracts with the CDC, with the U.S. Army, Air Force, Marines. We do have a Navy contract, the IRS. I'm just trying to think of just on my team. There's 4 staffing managers. I have about 150 on my team. Gosh, anything you could possibly think of. The great thing is that Cherokee Federal funnels all of this money back to the Cherokee Nation, but we are just thriving. And we have been at least for the last 14 years since we started. first years were kind of rough, but then after that, after they figured it out, it's pretty smooth. So I am just here to try to help answer any kind of questions that you might have. We do a lot of humanitarian. You may see some, if you can speak a different language besides Cherokee, there's even those opportunities up to Ukrainian and Dasha and Russian, anything you can pretty much think of. If you see that on there, those are going to be for our humanitarian. If you're not aware, we do a lot of assistance with the migrant surge right now, providing, let's see, caseworkers, managers. We work with the Customs Border Patrol. We work with the U.S. justice system, and we literally are, I think just my team hired in 22 nations, and about 450 people, just my team of 6 recruiters for about 450 jobs. So we are constantly hiring. One of the questions that came up is, do we have remote work? And the answer to that is yes. Currently, we have approximately 40 locations that are 40 different positions that are remote. It is per job, to be really honest. You will, if you go to our website and you type in, you go underneath the location. So that's CherokeeFederal.com. If you also go to CNB, to Cherokee Nation Businesses, you'll see a link for Cherokee Entertainment. You'll see one for Cherokee Federal because we are a Cherokee Nation business. But if you, and each one of those will have a separate career site. So if you don't see what you're looking for under entertainment, you could go to Cherokee Federal. Just keep in mind that each one has a different website. So total, I'm not sure how many entertainment has because we have different org structures, different, well, completely different org structures. So we have different staffing teams as well. But approximately 40, just from a quick look, approximately 400 active jobs on there. The other 100 are, if you see on there, it says this is pending a contract. The reason for that is that we will bid on something, but we have to, if we wait until we win that contract to start recruiting, we're already losing money because usually we have to have a butt in seat as soon as that contract is assigned. So what we do is we open up a position and we start collecting applications and start interviewing people. It's called a pipeline rec. And you'll notice that because it says this is pending an active contract. So by that time, as soon as we win it, we already have a whole talent pool of people who've applied to the job and we can move forward. So when you're looking on our website, just be really cognizant of those two things. Waiting for a pending contract means it's not funded yet. We haven't won it yet. So it could be a month, 3 months, 6 months. It could be we don't get it at all. So just keep that, just because it's posted doesn't mean we have it. The other ones are active jobs that we have to fill right now. So I see a question on here. Do Cherokee citizens get priority consideration for job openings? Is it okay if I go ahead and answer some of these? Okay. So do Cherokee citizens get priority consideration for job openings? Should job candidates identify themselves as Cherokee citizens? The second part of that question, absolutely. Please indicate yourself. Do you get priority? If you're in one of the 14 counties, so we have 2 locations in the 14 counties, yes, you do. Our initiative is for the Cherokee Nation to, if we have a Cherokee citizen and we have another candidate and they are both equally qualified, by law, we have to hire a qualified candidate. So if we have somebody who meets all the qualifications and we have a Cherokee citizen who is applying for a doctor and they're an accountant, probably not. But Absolutely. We try to hire Cherokee citizens as much as we can. It's not a requirement, but it is our Cherokee Federal #1 value and initiative is to not only provide money and funnel it to the Cherokee Nation, but to hire Cherokee citizens to provide jobs for them. So hopefully that answers that question. So another question is, I know that we are working with the VA in Oklahoma. Is that something we are looking at nationwide? I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
Dana,
Yeah.
I can help you out with that. I think what they're talking about is we recently worked with the VA to give them the VA shut down their medical facility in Veneta, Oklahoma, and we recently opened up our medical facility to kind of cost share with them and allow them space in our center. It was the first time a tribe has actively worked with the VA to put services together in one place. Yes, we are definitely looking at doing that in other places, in other areas. But we're first testing. This is the first time we're doing it. We're kind of testing this out in Oklahoma. We're hoping that we can go beyond that.
Okay, thank you. I had no idea about that one. Okay, I'm just going to, keep answering questions. So if anybody has anything to ask, please use me. Let's see, are Cherokee Nation business exempt from federal or state taxes? Not that I know of. Johnny, do you?
No.
That would be really, really nice, but.
That would be great, yes.
So, wonderful question, though. What are the perks of being a Cherokee Nation business? I'm assuming you're meaning what is the perks of being an employee of a Cherokee Nation business? I'm assuming, Samsung, is that from you? Is that what you're asking?
The question may also be about taro, becoming a taro vendor.
Well, I'm not sure if I can't hear you, Samsung, but or that could just be from your Samsung phone. Well, whoever asked that question, I will answer it as best as I can, and please feel free to interrupt me. Okay, so you say no. I guess I'm wondering. Oh,
yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, what's the criteria, or what is considered a Cherokee Nation business? How do you go about being certified as a Cherokee Nation business, or those businesses that are already established within the Cherokee Nation?
So not necessarily becoming an employee of it. You're asking about the business itself?
The business itself, yes, ma'am.
Johnny, that would be your ball of wax.
Yeah, I will try. I think I understand the question, but I think what we have is a little bit of a misunderstanding of the Cherokee Nation Businesses is its own company. Now, underneath that umbrella are many smaller LLCs. Cherokee Nation Business is just an LLC. It's a very big LLC, but it's just an LLC. So underneath Cherokee Nation Business, that LLC, there are sub companies, all of them within that CNB umbrella. So CNB owns many different companies. They own entertainment. They own Red Wing, like a manufacturing. We just bought a Intel company in Virginia called Preeding. So now it is a Cherokee
Criterion as well.
Yeah, we just bought Criterion. It now falls underneath the Cherokee Nation businesses. So CNB is its own LLC. It has its 8A benefits that come with it. It has its underrepresented business owner 8A category. So it can get set aside contracts. I know that CNB is doing more and more open bidding contracts as well. So There's another way to answer that question, which I don't know whether you were going this way, but you as a business owner, we would like you to be Taro certified, which that is called the Tribal Employment Rights Office. And that Linktree account, that Linktree web address that I put in the remarks, if you go to that and scroll down, you'll see Taro certification. So if you are a business owner yourself, now you're not going to get bought by C&B tomorrow. That's not what that's for. But you can put in the paperwork to become a Taro certified business through the Cherokee Nation, which basically gives you the ability to market yourself more appropriately to other tribal entities in your area. I hope that answers some of the question. I'm willing to rephrase or recalculate that answer if I need to, but please let us know if we're helping you out.
Yeah, and sorry to call you Samsung. I didn't realize that was your phone, but that'd be a pretty cool name.
It's quite the name.
Yeah.
No worries. Otto.
Yeah, so I think, did that answer it about that the Cherokee Nation is a company, an already established company, Cherokee Federal and Cherokee Entertainment. Those are already Cherokee companies. So I'm
Yes,
glad
thank you.
that.
Otto.
Yeah. Okay, just a couple more questions, or I have as much time as until, Johnny turns me off. So, are there any internships set aside for Cherokee students? Yes, we started our first internship program at Cherokee Federal this year. We tried to focus on as many Cherokee students as we could. I think we would have liked to have had more Cherokee natives. So was it only for natives? No, it was open to anyone, but I think we would have liked to have had more. But we did have a couple Cherokee natives apply for the internship this year, and it was our first time, and it was very successful. We can have internships in any division that is there, any department, which I think is another question. Paula, you asked, are there any jobs or scholarships for a student getting a master's in forensic science? That sounds very specific. For scholarships, that would be more in Johnny's wheelhouse, but I'll answer the other part. Any jobs in forensic science? I would say probably yes. I know for my team, the best thing to do is to go to our website, and you can, there's a great search feature there where you can type in forensic science. You can type in master's degree. You can type in a location. You can say remote. Anything basically that you want. It's a keyword search, and it will go into our entire database and pull that information. So, for example, I don't know specifically about a forensic science. Maybe when someone else is talking, I'll take a quick look. But lab technicians, environmental science, electrical, civil, lots of engineering. Right now we have contracts with the USDA, the CDC, and there's another one that is, the National Forest Service and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And a lot of those are focused around science. So there are lab techs, engineers, lots of biologists, biotech labs. So you might be able to find something in there. The best thing to do is if you don't see anything, you can set up a job alert that it will automatically email you so that it does the work for you. So you can set up a job alert on your profile, and you can have it send you however often you want. You want to see any updates every day or twice a week, whatever you want to set your alert as, it will email you and let you know when a new position has come available that has that, whatever that search criteria that you put into it. Maybe it's a master's degree or something in Oklahoma. Just so you know, we are focused out. Our headquarters is in Tulsa. So we are headquarters in there. And so we do have a lot of positions that are specifically in Tulsa. Let's see. And if I'm not answering something, would you please just put a chat in there so that I know that I'm answering it correctly? Okay, let me see what else is in here. What is the ratio? Oh, Robbie, what is the ratio of early career job openings versus what is the ratio of experienced professionals? You know, I don't know that off the top of my head. And that is an excellent question, but I think you just outthunk me there. So I would say, if I had to guess, just based off of what my team does, I would say a lot of ours are looking for 3+ years and require some certifications. Quite a few of the ones on my team will require security clearances or Pacific Trust because they're on military locations, or the IRS, they're on secured facilities. Not all of them, but I've got a pretty good chunk of at least about 100 on mine that require that. But a lot of them, I would say 3 to 5, but there are significant ones that are entry level. A lot of coordinators, project coordinators, or, you know, entry level. Some don't require any kind of experience at all. The thing about Cherokee Federal is there's a place for everyone. There literally is in every field, every degree program, every skill base, every experience base. You can pretty much find it at Cherokee Federal. Let's see, another question.
Good, a good question.
I have to scroll down, so that's a very good thing.
Yeah, there's a good question there about the Barrett Shepard has asked, are these short-term contract jobs or long-term career type jobs? They're really kind of a mix, isn't it, Dana?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're exactly right. So for Cherokee Federal, to be really honest, most of them are short-term contracts because we are contracted with the military. We're contracted with the federal government. A lot of these are 1-year contracts. What we try to do, though, is our recompete. Right now, we have secured, which is unheard of, we have secured 100% of our recompetes, which is insane. And nobody does that. So a recompete is when we have a contract, it is getting close to re-expiring, and so we recompete to gain it again. Then there is where we have to compete, which is when we, for the first time, we're just competing against everybody. Some of them are direct award, which means we've done it before and they said, you're doing a great job, you're going to get it. It's a direct award. The other ones we have to compete against. It's just all over the board. But most of these are contract jobs. We try to do a recompete and take an employee that's with us for a year and roll them over to another one. But we can't always do that. For example, we have a project right now called the Genesis Project with the CDC. We have about 150 employees that contract is ending, and it's ending. The federal government said, great job, you completed your assignment. And so, you know, what we're trying to do right now is find as many jobs for those people as we can to roll them over to other contracts. So the answer to that generally is, if you have a corporate job, then it is unending. Like for me, I have a corporate job. My job is a recruiter. But if it's one that is direct billed to the federal government, meaning it's to a specific contract, they're going to be short-term. That short-term could be 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. It just depends on the contract. Hopefully that answers that. But we do have long-term ones, such as like Cherokee Nation Business itself, what we call our corporate jobs. Those are all overhead. They're not directly billed to a contract. Now, if you find something in Cherokee Nation Entertainment, A lot of those are full-time or Cherokee Nation business, but Cherokee Federal, again, we're called Cherokee Federal because all we do is work on federal contracts where we bill the federal government for a service. Okay. Kim, you say, I'm currently working or living in Florida, but strongly considering moving back to Veneta, Tulsa area in the very near future. Congratulations. How can I find employment and volunteer opportunities, preferably with benefiting the Cherokee Nation? My background is HR. Woo, good job. And IT training. Oh, there you are. Hi. My background is in HR and IT training and professional development. So how can you find employment and volunteer opportunities? I can't speak on the volunteer opportunities, but the employment, the best thing to do is we have a very, very good website. Go to are those cans in your background?
Are you talking to me?
I am. That's very interesting.
Those are
Okay.
cans.
Sorry, I got distracted. So I would say go to our website. We have so many, literally 400 positions. They are pretty much in every state, 23 countries. A lot of them are based in Tulsa in Oklahoma, like I said before. And so if you don't find something there today, look tomorrow. If you don't find something tomorrow, set up a agent that will email you. It is literally changing every day. Every day I go in and I'll probably have anywhere from 5 to 10 new jobs a day. So hopefully that helps answers it. The volunteer, I can't speak to that one.
I'm helping out the volunteer right now. Kim, I'll tell you, we just initiated in the Cherokee Nation something called a Gadoogie Corps, and that is specifically for citizens who want to give back and volunteer. I gave you in the chat there, I gave you a Sean Crittenden's telephone number. Please feel free to reach out to him. And yeah, that thing that'll work out really well. They're needing people, and there's all kinds of opportunities.
Okay, well, I'm going to call you Samsung until you tell me, a different name. But
My name's Ashley.
Ashley. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice to meet you, Ashley.
Nice to meet you as well.
You asked me what level of security clearance. All levels of security clearance. Everything from a CAT card, which just allows you access onto a base, from a public trust, to security top secret. I mean, literally everything you could think of. If you have a security clearance, you should definitely email me.
Well, and speaking of security clearance, Robbie Hood had a question right above that about Cherokee Federal helping citizens with security clearances. Is that something that they do, or is that part of the hiring process, or is it better that they have it going in? How does that work?
It's up to the customer. So generally, and it will say on there, there will be on a job description, it will give an overview of a summary of the job. It will then say which division. So there are multiple LLCs underneath Cherokee Federal, construction, military. There's multiple ones. Then it will say an overview of another overview of the job, and then it'll say what are the requirements. There you will see it will either say a security clearance is required or the ability to obtain. So literally every single job is different. Most of the time, the customer does not sponsor security clearances. The reason why is it can take generally 3 to 6 to 9 months, depending on if you've ever had a security clearance and how long your gap is since you've had one. So a lot of them, it depends, because as soon as we win that contract, again, we have to have a butt in seat or we don't get paid for it. So my suggestion to you is look at the job description. The job description will tell you everything that you need, all the requirements. Some of them do say, or the ability to obtain. Now, a Pacific Trust, I keep saying Pacific Trust, a public trust, if it says public trust, those do not transfer. A security clearance, if you have one, as long as another company sponsors you, you can maintain your security clearance. If you have a security clearance and you have not worked in a while, a lot of people think, oh yeah, I've got a security clearance. Not unless security clearance have to be active. You have to actively be using that, which means that if you have it and there's a gap and you don't work for anybody, then your security clearance goes on pause. So just an FYI, a company has to go out there and say, yep, I'm going to use you and I have to have that security clearance. I'm going to sponsor you, which means you get to maintain it. And hopefully that makes sense. A public trust, like for the IRS, we have a bunch of those do not transfer. So in those cases, it is, you will have to start from scratch. So hopefully that helps answer that. But Cherokee Nation and Cherokee Federal itself, we do not sponsor or pay for it unless the job states that the customer will pay for it, because we will bill it back to the customer. Hopefully that helps.
I'll answer, if you don't mind, real quick. There's
go for it.
About the Space Force military branch. As far as the Cherokee Nation is concerned, our Veterans Affairs, if you get a DD 214, you're a veteran. It's not going to matter to us whether it's Navy, Space Force, Coast Guard. So yeah, we'll allow you to check mark that thing as veteran. If you've got a DD 214, you're good to go.
Yes, sir. The only issue is that for the veterans wall, in order to place or to purchase a brick, or to be recognized or given the award, there's not a box for the Space Force veterans to be able to check mark that box. And some of them have actually went in from other branches and they're going to be approaching retirement here soon. And so there's just not that option for them to be able to check mark that box.
All right. I totally understand. Being a veteran myself, I've got my brick, and I will take that for action. I will get a hold of Mr. Crittenden, Secretary Crittenden, and get that added to the little checkoff sheet. That is just an oversight on their part. No harm intended, but we'll get it worked out.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And thank you for your service.
Oh, appreciate it. It was my pleasure.
Phil, you asked, perhaps you already mentioned it, but is there any place someone can go to find job positions are available and looking for people? Phil, if you're on the line, can you state that in a different way? I'm not sure.
I put your in both Cherokee Federal and CMB employment sites up in there. We worked on that one a little bit ago. Not
Okay.
too far ahead of you there, but
no, that I appreciate you being too far ahead of me. Okay. Margaret, you said you worked for the Department of Veteran Affairs for 10 years and you're looking for remote work. So there's about 40 positions that are remote. The easiest thing to do is just to type in whatever it is that you're specifically looking for. You can, on our career site at Cherokee Federal, there is a nice little search bar and you can type in remote. You can also search by location. And if you search United States, that is also, there's two different ones. One says United States, one says work from home. And so either one of those are remote. And you just have to go through and look. You can type in any certain skills that you have and it will pull those up. It's a pretty robust database, so it's nice. Okay. Do you see any more that I am missing? You're welcome, Margaret.
Do you have the high school level, student level internships? I see that one on there.
Natasha. Is that Natasha?
It is.
It's hard when somebody adds one, it bumps it
Yeah,
down.
that
Do you have
kind
high
of
school
moves up
student
on
level
you.
interns? Not that I know of, not yet. But actually, I am pretty confident we do not. But I tell you what, I will. I'll take that as an action item, and I will ask Doris, who managed the internship program, about high school internships.
Let's see. Paula Scott is asking about curriculum development or education jobs. Paula, honestly, you'll have to just get on there and look. There's about 400 jobs on there right now, and I'd recommend you follow the link that we provided up above and run that search. You know, I was in curriculum development for a while in the Coast Guard. That's what my master's degree in San Diego State was about. Man, I enjoyed those days running a training center. But you know, I'm kind of doing other things now.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to, while everybody is trying to think of some new questions, because I'd love for you to send me questions. Let me tell you a little bit about what it's like to be an employee of Cherokee Federal. Again, I can't speak on the others. I can speak for Cherokee Nation Business and Cherokee Federal, not for Cherokee Entertainment. We have amazing benefits. One of those is an education reimbursement. So on the corporate level, not on the billable level, it's a different amount, but on the corporate level, you get $5,000 a year to put towards anything educational that it needs to be relevant to your job or your position. But you can have your college paid for, you know, if you go to a community college or part of that, if you get scholarships, and I know that there's Cherokee Federal scholarships. I think I saw $15 million for Cherokee scholarships this last year. And anyway, there's lots of opportunities for that. But to be a Cherokee Federal employee, you have amazing benefits, medical benefits. My husband works for Ball Aerospace, and they have great benefits. Cherokee Federals are half of that. So for me and a family of 4, it's about $250 a month for full coverage medical. It's quite amazing. Full medical, dental, vision, you know, long-term, short-term disability, education reimbursement. So another question I saw in here is, do you offer relocation? It depends on the contract. Some of the contracts will offer relocation. Some of them won't, but that's always a question to ask. You can apply for it. And we will ask you in the screening, are you willing to relocate? We do not have knockout questions. That means if you don't answer that absolute perfect question, that you automatically get knocked out, as most companies do. We do not do that. So regardless of how you answer your questions, you are going to show up in front of the recruiter on our website. So that's one thing that I love about Cherokee Federal. Let's see, a couple of other benefits that we have. We have amazing vacation and PTO days. Generally, it's 120 hours a year. It's all accrued. Here's an amazing part. So this year alone, we made $2.5 billion. If most employees are eligible for a 10% bonus, now there's a difference. There's the billable side, what we charge the customer, and then on the corporate side, it's all one company, but it's you know, you've got your overhead and then your billable. For the overhead, so say for me as a corporate employee, I get a 10% bonus based off of if we meet our goals. And every year in 14 years, Cherokee Federal has exceeded our goals, so much so that we doubled our bonus. So it's 10% of your salary. We doubled it. It's 20%. So everybody on Thursday, the 16th, gets a 20% bonus of their base salary if you work for corporate. Now, if it's on the billable side, we can obviously charge that to the customer for a 20% bonus. So it depends on the position that you were in. Some are eligible for benefits, some are not. But that is a heck of a benefit and a very nice thing to get before Christmas. Okay. Oh, and another thing that you get is that you're eligible for hybrid remote. So even if the position does not say remote, all Cherokee Federal employees are eligible to work after 60 days. You are eligible to work remotely on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So even if the job itself is not remote, you are required to work in the office on certain jobs, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but all employees on the corporate side are eligible to work from home Tuesdays and Thursdays. Again, if it's with the customer, it's up to the customer. They may need you on site 5 days a week, but it's kind of hard. It's like this two-faced animal that it literally is different for every job. So if you see a job out there that you like, apply for it. And if a recruiter calls you, ask. But all the information that you will need will be on that job description.
That's pretty good. Tuesdays and Thursdays after 60 days. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, especially, for me, I've got an hour and a half commute each way into downtown Denver. So I've got a 3-hour commute. So for me, that's music to my ears. Kim, you say, do you know if jobs are specifically in the pipeline for employment of Cherokees with the proposed American Heartland theme park?
That's a good question, but no.
I would say I don't know about that one.
Now, I've heard the rumor that there's about 5 square acres of trust land out there in the middle of where they want to build that park. So when we get our little casino or a little smoke shop going out there, who knows? But no, on a more serious note, no, the Cherokee Nation has not been approached at all by anyone putting together the Heartland, the theme park. I personally hope it goes up. I own property about 7 miles south of that area, so I've already had about 5 different offers on my piece of property, and that little area could sure use a boost out there. So I hope it goes up. But no, Cherokee Nation is not involved whatsoever in that little piece of property. One good question here, Dana, is that people are asking is, does Cherokee Federal use technology to scan the resumes first to do the keyword searches?
So
you don't have to give out any trade secrets here. Now we're not putting on the spot.
No, you ask me, I'll tell you. So that is an excellent question. And if you don't know, most companies out there, most larger companies that receive a lot of applications, use it's kind of like an AI, but it's based off of keyword searches. So it is intelligent technology. So before I go into that, let me give you a little tip. If you are doing a resume, my suggestion is you create a resume for the specific job that you're applying for. So one of the best things to do, whether it's with Cherokee Federal or it's with any company, especially the larger companies, they are going to use AI. So what it will do, we do have that technology, but it's in addition, it is not the core way that we recruit. So let me explain that more. Every position, every resume, every person who applies for a position goes in front of a recruiter. We do not use AI to filter out candidates. So there are certain things called knockout questions that I mentioned before. If you see those, they'll say, do you have a bachelor's degree? Yes or no. What you're not seeing is if you reply no and the job description says yes, it has the technology to bump you out and the recruiter never sees you. It'll put you in a does not qualify. That does not mean that you answer yes to all of those. That'll get you in front of the recruiter, but the recruiter will look at it and bump you up. We do not use that technology. We do not currently have knockout questions. Now that is something that we are looking at in the future. Really, because we have so many candidates sometimes just for certain jobs, that if you don't have knockout questions, you're filtering through a bunch of people who are, say, waitresses applying for an electrical engineer position. And so that's the reason why they do that. We do not currently use that, though. We don't use knockout questions, nor do we use the AI. What we do use is, say 10 people applied for a job. We do have the technology that those 10 people applied for that specific job, but down below it will say, see like candidates. Now this is a benefit to you, not, being knocked out. It'll say, see similar candidates. And what that does is it will search our entire database of, we literally have over 100,000 candidates in there. Like maybe you applied for a position 3 months ago. It will search the entire database to find people who have similar skills. And that is based off of AI. So here's my suggestion to you. If you apply for a job, look at the job description, look at the requirements, and use those keywords that are in a requirement section as many times as you possibly can. Because while Cherokee Federal does not do that, most companies do that. And they will say you have 50 resumes of people who've applied to a position. Most companies, most applicant tracking systems will take the most qualified person and put it up at the top. If there are a lot of candidates, a industry standard is a recruiter will go in, they'll look at the first 10 positions or the first 10 resumes that are there, see if there's any qualified candidates, move those on and not look at the rest. That is an industry standard of recruiting, just for everybody's awareness. It could be 10, it could be 20. If they find the qualified ones there, they stop. If they don't, they'll go to the next 10. Some recruiters will look through all of them. If you have 40, 50 resumes, most recruiters will look through all of them. But if you can put in there as many times, so say it is a electrical engineer, and you put in there engineer, 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 over and over and over again, most systems, the AI in there, artificial intelligence, will bump you up as a more qualified candidate. But we do not use that at Cherokee Federal. I'm sorry that was such a long answer.
Dana, Margaret Lindsay asked if you would be willing to look at her resume.
No way.
She's applied for a few positions, but haven't heard anything back.
All right. I tell you what, Margaret, can you please, let's see, how's the best way? Let me do this. Let me find Margaret Lindsay. Margaret, are you on right now? Says that she left. Margaret Lindsay left. All right. Well, I'm talking to your chat instead of you, Margaret. But what I'll do, Johnny, is I will pull up and see which positions that she applied for, and I will I'll give her a call.
I'm sure that she would be greatly appreciative.
Anything else? Any other questions that people have?
Quite a bit here. Yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit.
Hi, Dana. This is Kim. I do have one question.
Hey, Kim. Yeah.
Hi. You were talking about benefits
Yes.
for working at Cherokee Federal. Are you guys vested after 5 years, like with federal government?
Oh, no, Kim. You are vested from the first day you start. That is unheard of. But we do offer 401k with a 6% match, dollar for dollar. So from literally the day that you start, you are vested in that 6%.
Well, that's phenomenal. Good to know.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any? I mean, we've kind of gone through the chat here, but if you're those folks that are still on, I mean, we still have about 34 people on. If you have any questions that you wanna throw out here real quick, we'd be happy to entertain those. If not, we'll start wrapping this up.
I love the can question. By the way, the cans in the background are in a recycling center near here. I was very struck by the view. Well, it's a fun conversation starter for sure. How can someone find support and partnering with the Cherokee Nation to build a sports facility, develop programming that benefits Cherokee Nation? That's all you, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I have a where's it at? I'm trying to find this contractors, Cherokee healthcare. I need to find a specific link. Let me see if I can find this thing that that I received from CNB on the Cherokee Nation Businesses side, a website people can go to put in ideas of how to partner with CNB on business ventures. So let me try to find it real quick. Just give me a minute.
While we're doing that, can I share my screen really quick and just show an example of some of the current jobs that we have?
Yeah, please.
Except that my screening is disabled by the host, so I can't share it.
Are they still on or?
I would be happy to, but JC, are you still there, or can somebody disable that or enable it?
I'm not able to, but I've just texted to our hosts to ask them to do it. Yeah.
Okay, I think I can now. Let me try.
Okay, good.
Okay. So let me show you some of the positions that we currently have available. Let me make this a little bit larger. Oops, not that small. Sorry, guys. Oh, sorry. For some reason, it is a little bit different on mine. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Okay. Try this again. The share screen did something very interesting to mine. So for right now, I just want to, if I put a filter on this, I just want to show you some of the positions that we have. You'll be able to see it in this drop down, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, but I'm going to say these out loud. I mean, there's a lot of them, but we have warehouse, business accountants, business support specialists, construction project manager, counterintelligence analyst experts, electronic security systems, engineering project manager, enterprise architect, targeting specialist, humanitarian, intelligence analyst. intelligence collections manager, operations, IT systems engineer, military force analyst, paralegals, physical security, program managers, project engineers. I have no idea what an RCRA specialist is. Security electronics technicians, aquatic toxologist. These are just, some of them. Now that's very, very, very descriptive. But we also have counterintelligence analysts, lab technicians. For some reason, this is not showing all of them. Accountants, legal technicians, health communications, junior biologists. So this one is going to be an entry-level one. Some of these are canceled. Let me get out of the canceled ones. Let's see. Well, they're not here right now, but we have, these are the types of positions. Order fillers. These are for the IRS. Those are in basically your paper processing. We have a lot of warehouse specialists, electronic technicians, field service reps, cellular systems engineers, biostatisticians. Basically, we have positions in just about everything that you can think of. Those were just, a couple of them that we have on there. A lot of those are very technical, but we do have quite a few just entry level. Warehouse facilities. Right now we have a contract with the with the Marine Corps, where we manage 43 warehouses. And we may have to maintain 370 employees at all of those warehouses. And I mean, that's just one contract that we have. So while we may have 500 positions, some of those positions have multiple hires on them. So one of them that I have right now for the warehouse, it has like 20 positions on there. So while we may have 500 postings, I couldn't even tell you how many, we could have 1,000 jobs available.
Well, I don't have access to that website that I was going about, but if you and I forget who was asking, but if you'll watch, I put in the chat a link to my link tree. Whoever was asking about that, if you'll look at that link tree tomorrow afternoon, I will have that website on that link tree for that partnership, to partner with C&B on different opportunities. So you'll be able to find it there. I'll make sure that I get it up there for you.
Oh, Kim, you asked a question. Can you go to the Cherokee Federal website and show us how to navigate to find jobs? Sure, that would be a great thing for you to be able to do. So do I still have time to do that, Johnny?
Yeah, we've got about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to have to start wrapping this up.
Well, I think that's a great way to end that. So
Sure.
Oh, shoot, they disabled me again. If somebody could try to reactivate me, and I would be happy. Thank you. It's just magic. I just say it and it happens. Okay, so let me go and show you. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let me start from the beginning. So you can go to CherokeeFederal.com. It'll bring you to our website, and here you can click on careers. And then what is not intuitive is it's this tiny little blue thing right here that you click on. It says join our team. This is where you can look for, so you can look for all jobs, or you can look at this job location. And if you start typing in, let's say United States. It's going to pull up that we have 387 positions located within the United States. But for example, I know one of them that I have is in Japan. We have 4. These are all at the Kadena Air Force Base. This is also at Kadena, and so is this real property manager. So we have multiple different locations. So you can type in by location. Easiest ways to get out of this and go back in. You can also look by skill set. So let's say we're looking for a lab technician. I have 3 jobs for a lab tech. It's going to tell you the location that it's in, and these say that they are on site. This one that says be the first to apply, that means that this is a brand new job. It'll tell you, well, that's interesting. This one was posted on 9/26. This is on my team. It doesn't surprise me that it's the first to apply. This is a very hard job to fill. When you pull this up, here's this overview that I talked to you about. The great thing is that we post, so there's a thing called pay transparency. It's a new federal law. It's a new state law that about 13 states right now are part of, including Colorado. So, which basically states that if you have a position, that state requires that you post what is the salary band on there, meaning the beginning and the bottom to the top. So you will notice that because of that, we post on almost every one of our jobs the salary for the job. So this position will have anywhere from 65,000 at the bottom to 72,000. This is where your responsibilities will be. And then these are the requirements, which means that you have to have at least these. If they say required, you have to have this or you can't be considered for a position. Here's another one I forgot to say. All positions at Cherokee Federal you'll have to have a background investigation and a drug screen. And this will talk about those different divisions. I think we have 14 LLCs underneath Cherokee Federal. So this is an example of a job description. Here is another option. Join our talent community. Let's say that you look and you can't find anything that you're interested in. So if you click on join this talent community, you can type in your email here and you can hit subscribe. Let's see if I can put something in here. I'll put my personal, see if I can get in here. Okay, so this will say, so basically what this does is it puts you in our database. Remember when I said before that 10 people applied for a job, but the bottom half of our recruiting screen says see similar candidates, and we can then search our entire database for anybody else who has a master's degree in biology, for example. That's what this does. You're not actually applying to a job, but you're going into our database, and all of our recruiters use this every day. When we're looking for a candidate and we don't see qualified candidates applying, the very first thing that we're going to do as a recruiter is we're going to search our database to see if there's anybody who has applied, say, a month ago or in this. So this is very powerful. So complete this. And then I don't know if you remember me saying about the alerts. So you can say, hey, I just want to be in your database, or you can say, I want to hear alerts about new opportunities. If you click on this, you have to fill the rest of this out. I'm not going to set up an alert, but you can click on here and it's going to ask you, based off of here, what do you want to have an alert? How often do you want to have it, et cetera, et cetera. This is a very, very powerful tool. If you don't see anything now, two options. One, just go into our general database, and two, ask to receive notifications. Literally the second that I post a position, you'll receive an email. So you'll be the first one to get that. Okay, any other questions that I can answer in the last 40 seconds?
And I tell you, honestly, this has been great. I mean, I didn't expect to have this kind of turnout, and the questions have been amazing. Even I've learned a lot on this thing. We're really looking forward to Dr. Coates and I right now. We're talking about what we're how we're going to keep this thing going, and how often we're going to have these and continue having them. So with all that being said, Dana, I'd really appreciate you stepping in and being on here today and answering all these questions. Man, we've got so many people looking for work, and the questions were insightful. Your answers were right on the money. Those people that we owe answers to, do not hesitate to email us. You have our information. Don't hesitate to reach out, whether it be myself, Dana, or Dr. Coates. We're always here to help you out as best we can. I may not have the answer for you. It may be a little bit out of my lane, but I will do my best to try to get you the answers that you need.
Okay, Johnny, just want to jump in on that real quick. Yeah. There is also on the contact us on our website. If you go to contact us, there's an HR response. So there's a team of about 4 to 6 people who that's all that they do is answer questions every day. So if you go to Cherokee Federal or CNB, I don't know if Cherokee Entertainment has it, but I'm pretty sure they do. If you go to any one of our websites, by the way, you can go to Cherokee Nation, you can go to Cherokee Entertainment, you can go to Cherokee Federal, you can go to Cherokee.org. Any one of those has links to all the rest of them. But if you go there, it says contact us. You can send an email to hrresponse@cherokeefederal.com. So if you can't remember Johnny's or mine or anything like that, you can click on there. Those people will send you, I get them all the time from HR response, like Margaret, can I find out about my resume? They will take that, they will send it to one of the staffing managers, and we will send it to the recruiter that's working that job. So if you can't remember anything else from today, you can just remember, you can ask questions on the website, and they're very, very good about getting back to you.
Yeah, very good. I just put my email in the chat there, and of course I'll say it again. My Linktree link that's in that chat. Find that. That's got all of my information in there. It's it's got everything I can imagine to put. But man, this has been great. Dr. Coates, do you have anything that you'd like to add before we start turning the volume down on this thing?
Yeah. If you've learned things tonight, I've learned 10 times what you've learned. Well,
that's wonderful.
This is really Johnny's wheelhouse, and it was just like, and such a primary interest for him and everything. And it was like, Johnny, let's do what you want to do, and what a great idea. So, thank you, Johnny, for the idea, and thank you, Dana,
great job,
for being with us. This has been amazing.
Thanks for letting me play. Thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're going to have you back now. Don't think this is the last one. Well, with that being said, I'll go ahead and